So Ben 10 is my favorite animated series of all time easily, and I'm gladly thinking of different video ideas all the time and just trying to give myself reasons to talk about this show on here. It's one of the most successful cartoon franchises of all time, and it's beloved by many. So I think just based off of that alone, it's pretty easy to say that the Ben 10 franchise is pretty awesome. But what I want to do today is take a look at the errors and mistakes in the Ben 10 franchise, more specifically the Ben 10 Classic series. So let's kick it off by looking at the wardrobe/garments section. There's also a few instances where Gwen's missing the cat from her shirt, like in Season 1 Episode 7, the episode titled Tourist Trap, and the Season 2 premiere. The next one's in Season 2 Episode 12 titled Dr. Animo and the Mutant Ray. So when Ben, Gwen, and Grandpa Max are on their way to Dr. Animo, something kind of weird happens with their vests. If I'm not mistaken, it has something to do with the straps and the vests. And I've honestly never even really noticed this one, especially on my recent rewatches. I actually found this one online. So this next one's more of an anatomy issue, but in the Season 1 episode titled Tourist Trap, Ben turns into Stinkfly and is laughing on the ground, and his tail is actually facing the wrong direction. In the position that Ben's laying in, the black portion of his tail should be facing the ground as opposed to facing upwards. Also in the Season 1 episode titled Washington, BC, there's a shot of forearms where the stripe on his shirt isn't colored in. So next up, I'm just going to talk about some general errors. The first one here appears in the Secret of the Omnitrix movie right after Gwen appears to be taken. When Ben turns into forearms and is punching the ground, there's a split second where there's an error in the background. I think it's quite literally one frame, but if you look in the background, you can see Tetrex's jaw shifts over to the right and is floating in midair. The next one's in the episode where the Galactic Enforcers made their debut. When they tell Ben they want him to join their team, he gets a special Galactic Enforcers uniform. Something that doesn't really make sense though logically is how Ben has the Omnitrix over the uniform. This of course makes no sense because Ben has no knowledge on how to get the Omnitrix off, so therefore it makes no sense that he got the uniform underneath the Omnitrix. I feel like the next one's a little more known, but this is from the Season 3 episode titled Under Wraps. In the climax of this episode, we see Ben go toe-to-toe with the mummy. When the mummy grabs hold of the Omnitrix, you can see it start to shuffle through the different aliens. And if you pause it at the right time, you can see that one of the aliens is Ghostfreak. This is more of a continuity error, if anything, because at this point in the show, Ghostfreak wasn't in Ben's roster of aliens. In Season 2, Ghostfreak escaped the Omnitrix and became the villain known as the Scare, leaving Ben without the alien. I was trying to think logically about how this could have snuck its way into the episode. One thing I've been thinking is maybe it had to do with the production order. However, this doesn't make a lot of sense because this Mummy episode is almost a full season after the Ghostfreak episode, leading me to believe that maybe the people that were animating this episode just kind of forgot that Ghostfreak wasn't in Ben's roster anymore. In the Season 2 finale titled Back with a Vengeance, we see Vilgax and Kevin 11 team up to take Ben on. Right when Kevin 11 puts his foot on Ben's arm, you can see that he has a diamond head foot. But if you look at the design of Kevin, or even just Kevin in any other episode, you can see that he doesn't have a diamond head foot. This is probably the most minute and nitpicky one, but on Kenny's birthday, he's turning 10 and there's 11 candles. In this episode, when Gwen's on her laptop, if you look at the top of the screen, you can see that they spelled league wrong. In the Season 1 episode titled A Small Problem, when Ben is running away as Grey Matter, there's a split second, and I think it's, again, just one frame, where Grey Matter's eye is cut off. So this next one I came across myself, but I'm pretty sure I've seen it in an Ink Tank video one time. But in the Season 1 episode titled Tourist Trap, there's a couple frames where they literally just took Gwen's model and just placed it right on top of everything when they hand drew every other character. Honestly, this one is so quick that it's really easy to miss, but once you take a look at it, it's actually kind of funny. In the beginning of the Gwen 10 episode, when one of the robbers bumps into Gwen, there's a split second for a frame where Gwen has no hand. So the last category I made for this video is Omnitrix errors. There are several times, and I probably don't even have all of them right here, where Ben is just missing his Omnitrix. From what I can recall, this happens in Secret of the Omnitrix, Permanent Retirement, Tourist Trap, and Game Over. In the very first episode, there's a frame where the Omnitrix is drawn with two buttons, one on each side of the dial, which of course is not in the original design of the Omnitrix and 99% of the show. In Season 1 Episode 5, there's a shot where the buttons are on the wrong side as well. In the first episode, there's a moment where Ben times out and the Omnitrix is green as opposed to red. There's this missing symbol from the second episode of Season 1. In Season 2 Episode 11, in the very beginning, Wildwood has an orange brace as opposed to the black and white one. In Season 2 Episode 10, there's a couple frames where there's an error with the patch that Ripjaws has. And during the episode The Visitor, there's a time where Diamond Head's back is drawn incorrectly. There's also times where the Omnitrix is drawn on the wrong wrist, like in Season 1 Episode 5 and Season 2 Episode 5. There's been times where the white tubes on the Omnitrix were drawn green, like in Season 1 Episode 1 and Season 3 Episode 5. I will say I always thought the one in Season 3 Episode 5 was kind of intentional just because the Omnitrix was freaking out and it was even a different shade of green. But according to the Ben 10 wiki, this was not intended. There's also a moment in one of the Ken 10 episodes where Ken unlocks Master Control, but he times out. This of course is an error because that kind of just defeats the purpose of Master Control, being that Master Control really just allows you to not time out and switch between aliens without reverting to human. So these are a handful of the errors that I found in Ben 10 Classic. If you guys like this video, please let me know if you want to see a part 2 down in the comments. Also, just let me know in general what type of videos you guys want to see, and thank you guys for watching.